Hey all you cats and chicks out there, welcome back to Control Players Unite. I'm your host, Dr. Red. Today we will be reviewing all of the Pokemon with free attacks, that is, attacks that cost 0 energy in the current standard format. These can be valuable in building control decks because they force your opponent to work around them. You might even be able to trap your opponent in the active. Some cards will have elaboration, others not. Let's begin. First we have Hisuian Electrode V. This is popular in the aggro deck Cleffa with Brute Bonnet that allows you to poison your own Pokemon and the other your opponent's active. This has Tantrum Blast. This attack does 100 damage for each special condition affecting this Pokemon. This card was popular as a rogue deck before the rotation of the Spicy Curry card, which allows you to make Hisuian Electrode V burned as well. Hasn't seen too much play since then, but it is a fun little meme deck nowadays. Hisuian Lilligant Swelling Sense. Search your deck for up to 2 grass energy cards and attach them to your bench Pokemon any way you like. Hasn't seen any play. Hisuian Lilligant V. Dance gracefully. Draw cards until you have 6 cards in your hand. Hisuian Lilligant VSTAR has seen some play with decks requiring some heavy grass acceleration, such as Wo-Chien EX, but nothing really in the control genre. Hisuian Voltorb Cheerful Charge. You can use this attack only if you go second and only during your first turn. Choose up to 2 of your benched Pokemon. For each of those Pokemon, search your deck for basic energy and attach it to that Pokemon. This hasn't seen any play, nor has its evolution form, Hisuian Electrode. Triple draw 3 cards, and also Irritated Bomb for 50 damage. I did make a really fun meme deck using nothing but free attack Pokemon, and this was one of the premier cards I used because I could hit things like Charizard EX for weakness, although I haven't tried it in the new format. But it might be fun in the future. Magby, note the free retreat. Scorching Heater during your opponent's next turn. If this Pokemon is damaged by an attack, even if it's knocked out, put 6 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon. Alolan Vulpix V White Drop. If your opponent's active Pokemon is a V, this attack does 50 more damage. This card and its evolution form, Alolan Vulpix V Star, are extremely popular because of Alolan Vulpix V Star's Snow Mirage attack. The V-Star power is Silvery Snowstar. This attack does 70 damage for each of your opponent's Pokemon V in play. This damage isn't affected by weakness or resistance. This card pretty much shuts down Charizard EX and is extremely popular in aggro control decks, even winning Alex Szymanski the NAIC last year. You can pair it with pretty much anything you want as well, as long as you can get that one water energy into play. Cramorant, extremely popular with Lost Zone decks, as we know. Lost Provisions makes this attack spit innocently free. Lost Provisions is an ability that states if you have 4 or more cards in the Lost Zone, ignore all energy in this Pokemon's attack costs. You can also do things like attach technical machines that will just take ones that cost 2 or 3 energy and just use them for free as well. Hisuian Basculin, this is popular for Gather the Crew. Search your deck for up to 2 basic Pokemon, put them on your bench, then shuffle your deck. It's basically the replacement for, Battle VIP Pass, which just rotated. It's not the same as Buddy Buddy Poffin, the new one. The replacement for Battle VIP Pass, Buddy Buddy Poffin allows you to only put 2 70 HP Pokemon or fewer on the bench. Gather the Crew lets you put any 2 you want, so it's worth considering. The other Hisuian Basculin does surprise attack for 40, flip a coin, if Tails' attack does nothing. This card is virtually useless for pretty much everybody, doesn't see any play. Hisuian Basculegion is fun for decks that like to discard energy. They're usually meme decks. It's been kind of been taken seriously with the Dialga V-Star, but not too much. Upstream Spirits, this attack does 20 damage for each basic energy card in your discard pile, then shuffle those cards back into your deck. Mantyke, Buoyant Healing. Heal 120 damage from one of your benched Pokemon. I've seen this once in a Japanese control deck, if I'm not mistaken, but otherwise hasn't seen any play. Elekid, Crackling Shot. This attack does 30 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. This card gets sometimes played a lot with Serena EX decks because all of the Pokemon you're damaging with Serena EX will have 30 HP left. So as long as Manaphy's not on the bench, you can hit pretty much anything. Cleffa, this is extremely popular with control decks like Pidgeot EX and is also gaining popularity with Charizard EX. Grasping Draw 7 cards until you have 7 in your hand, and also the free retreat is really valuable for being able to get something like, say, Noivern EX or your Charizard into play. So definitely you could experiment a lot with this card and get some really good results. Hisuian Typhlosion V sees no play, has the Singe attack, which basically just makes your opponent burned. Hisuian Zoroark has Collect, Draw, which draws you a card, but its evolution form, Hisuian Zoroark, has Doom Curse. At the end of your opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon will be knocked out. If you pair this with Spidops EX, which adds a single colorless energy to your opponent's retreat cost, and you put something in play like Wasteland, which makes all of your opponents, yours and your opponent's non-fighting basic Pokemon increase the retreat cost will increase by 1. You can put this in the active and basically trap pretty much anything your opponent throws at you. And even if they can get out, they will probably be using up a valuable resource in Switch, or they will be having to use up valuable energy. So definitely worth considering in a Spidops EX control deck. It could be aggro control. Mime Jr. Mime games. Your opponent chooses an attack from one of their Pokemon in play. Use the chosen attack as this attack. Just remember, ladies and gentlemen, that it's for Pokemon in play, so you can get a really useless attack and it does absolutely nothing. But it is fun to experiment with. I made a really fun meme deck with 4 of these. Didn't win too much, but it was really good whenever it would tip off like a Giratina VSTAR for 280 damage. That was really great. Bonsly does Blubbering for 10 damage, and your opponent's active Pokemon is confused. That could be good for trying to get your opponent, just to stall your opponent out. Hasn't seen any play. Hisuian Decidueye, Piercing Claw. This attack does 30 damage for each damage counter on your opponent's active Pokemon. This could be good like with something with spread damage, a spread damage deck like Miss Magus. Maybe Hisuian Braviary, but otherwise this hasn't seen any play. It's also kind of a meme card. You have a lot of fun experimenting with it. Hisuian Growlithe, Defensive Posture, flip a coin. If heads during your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks. The other one has Singe. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now burned. But really, Hisuian Arcanine, very vulnerable. If you have no cards in your hand, this attack does 150 more damage. This is a really fun, I guess you could call it low-tier rogue, borderline meme deck. It has some potential, at least it did before rotation as a fun deck, but really doesn't see too much play. But it could definitely be has potential in the future. Hisuian Qwilfish, Spiny Rush, flip a coin till you get tails. This attack does 10 damage for each heads, but its evolution, Hisuian Overqwil, is what we want. Tormenting Poison, your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned, and you put 5 damage counters on that Pokemon instead of 1. This would be really good if it wasn't for the fact that ancient Pokemon have the Ancient Booster Energy Capsule. I said future, didn't mean to do that. Which basically prevents all special conditions, and also with switch cards and lots of different ways to get your opponent out of the active, like Penny and Turo. It makes special conditions hard to be feasible right now, but Hisuian Overqwil definitely is a fun meme deck. Once again, you can see a theme here. Definitely worth trying out, keeping in mind in the future as a backup attacker, a supporting attacker. Hisuian Sneasler V, Poison Claws, your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned. Hisuian Sliggoo, Rigidified during your opponent's next turn. This Pokemon takes 50 less damage from attacks. These two cards here, the previous one as well, sees absolutely no play. Ditto, this sees play in control decks as well as in United Wings. Sudden Transformation, the Pokemon can use the attacks of any basic Pokemon in your discard pile, except for Pokemon with a rule box. So any of the basics we've seen here today, Ditto would have a free attack. Just wanted to note that, even though you probably won't be using any of them. Hisuian Braviary, as we mentioned before, this attack does 30 damage for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon, but the other one is one we want. This is used a lot in Serena EX decks. Eerie Cry, put 3 damage counters on each of your opponent's Pokemon that has any damage counters on it. This basically results in a board wipe. If you check out my video on Pokemon TCG unofficial vocabulary, you'll see just that with Hisuian Braviary. We have Hisuian Zoroark V, Void Return. You can switch this Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. Hisuian Zoroark V and the VSTAR, its evolution, are a rogue deck paired usually with Dodrio from the Pokemon 151 set. Otherwise, you don't really see this card in control play either. Now we're back to the beginning. Thank you everybody for watching. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Take care of yourselves and God bless you.